A progressive party leader says she was violently carjacked at her home right in front of her young children.
Now, I don't take joy in anyone's personal suffering, but there's truth to where the Bible says you reap what you sow. Check this out.
A progressive party leader says she was violently carjacked at her home right in front of her young children. Shivanthi Shafanadhan posted this image of her bloody face. She says she suffered a broken leg and cuts and bruises after 4 young men held her up at her North Minneapolis home. She is the second vice chair of the state DFL party. On Facebook, she said law enforcement needs to, quote, catch these young people who are running wild, creating chaos across our city, and hold them in custody and prosecute them, period. Police recovered her stolen car, but no word on any arrests.
Now, that was her. That was Shivanthi in 2023. Let's rewind the clock back to a year or two ago and see what her perspective was on crime and the police. Democratic Party chairwoman who once called to defund the police, carjacked and assaulted in Minneapolis. A Democratic Party leader thanked the Minneapolis police and pushed to prosecute youths, quote unquote, running wild after she was carjacked Tuesday, despite previous support for dismantling the department. Shivanthi Sathanandan, the second vice chair for the Minnesota Democratic Farmer Labor Party, posted on Facebook Wednesday that she was violently carjacked by 4 very young men, all carrying guns. She said they assaulted her in front of her children outside their home in broad daylight. She also includes a photo of her head injuries and reported having a broken leg, deep lacerations on my head, bruising, and cuts around her body, as well as feeling, quote unquote, rage against the lack of accountability against criminals. You can't make this stuff up, folks. The irrational mindset of where she once stood compared to now that she was impacted. It reminds me of these politicians across the nation who are calling for sanctuary cities, open the door, allow these illegals to come in. But now that they're being overwhelmed, Chicago, New York, now they're calling for a freeze, a halt on these folks coming in. Everything changes once you become the victim. Everything. She says this as well. Quote, these men knew what they were doing. I have no doubt that they had done this before, yet they are still in our streets, killing mothers, giving babies psychological trauma that a lifetime of therapy cannot erase, with no hesitation and no remorse. Sathanandan wrote. She continued, I'm now part of the statistics. I wasn't silent when I fought these men to save my life and my babies, and I won't be silent now. We need to get illegal guns off our streets, catch these young people who are running wild, creating chaos across our city, and holding them in custody and prosecute them, period. My goodness. I mean, at least she's woke up a bit now to reality, to a reality that a lot of people across the nation have been dealing with for forever, for decades. Crime in the inner city, the crime issue. These progressives especially don't seem to care until they are impacted by it. This is utter madness, y'all. Utter madness. It's always about the quote unquote oppressed and the victim, the people who really suffer from these evil criminals. Who cares about them? But now she's being sympathetic. This stuff pisses me off, y'all. But let's look at her previous rhetoric. Let's go there. Though she thanked police officers for their response, at the height of the George Floyd riots in 2020, Sathanandan wrote Facebook posts supporting efforts to quote unquote dismantle the police. And here's what some of the stuff that she wrote. We're going to dismantle the Minneapolis Police Department. Say it with me. Dismantle the Minneapolis Police Department. She wrote, as allies, what can we do right now? Listen and learn from our Black siblings, and then amplify their message right now. In this moment, MPD has systematically failed the Black community. They have failed all of us. It's time to build a new infrastructure that works for all communities. If you are still disagreeing with that basic fact, I'm not sure what to say to you. Now, I'm assuming now she disagrees with that quote unquote quote unquote basic fact, I'm telling you, life has a way of smacking you in the face. But I'm hoping now that maybe she'll wake up and become more reasonable as she tries to legislate and really starts to make some change to affect those who are impacted by crime. But what do y'all think? Comment down below. But before you go, make sure you check out this video right here. I think you'll find it very helpful as well.